Mr. Spielberg, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you, Kevin?
Hey, it's great to have you on. And one thing I was just talking to my anchors about was the technology in this film and the performance capture and the quality of Mark Rylance and being able to see his eyes. And you have been on the forefront of technology. Technology has always been interesting to me because if you look at all the films you've made, you've always used technology to a great point in your career. So Jaws, you had an animatronic shark. You have the animatronic T-Rex that Stan Winston did in Jurassic Park. You actually shot the real moon photography to get that E.T. sequence. And so you always made it work somehow, no matter where you were in technology at the time. So I'm wondering, this book was written in 1982. If you hypothetically had to make this film in the 80s, how would you have approached it practically?
Well, if I had to make the film in the 80s, I would have used forced perspective sets. The actor, would have been in the foreground, like Darby O'Gill and the Little People, where Darby was, the actor playing Darby was in the foreground, but they used so much light, the focus was sharp on him, and all the little people were in the background, but because of the forced perspective, you thought they were right around, dancing around Darby's feet, when in fact they were about 60 yards away. I would have had to use old-fashioned methods like that, and the camera would have had to be fixed in place and couldn't have been as fluid as it turned out to be on BFG.
Would you, if you made Jaws today, would you then use a CGI shark, or would you have still gone with an animatronic? I know there was a lot of issues when you were making Jaws with the shark, but would you do it CGI today?
Yeah, it would have saved a lot of us our sanity, and we would have come out of that with good memories. But I think that the lack of shark, because of the technical breakdowns of the shark in 1974, really forced me to find another way of telling the story in a more suspenseful way. So if I had more of the shark, the film would not have been as effective, I believe.
Very interesting. Now, Mr. Spielberg, you have been making movies since you were a teenager. I've actually seen footage of your 8mm movies you made as a kid. But the beauty of this movie is that this feels like you're returning to the younger teenage Spielberg, like that excitement that's there. You've always had that in your movies, but this feels like a full circle for you, almost, the idea of dreams and becoming where you are today. And I'm wondering, the Spielberg that made those movies like Escape to Nowhere back in the day, how much of Spielberg then is still with you now? What aspects of that Spielberg are still with you?
Well, I don't have the greatest distance to be able to really, look back that far and evaluate whether I had enough of my childhood left in me to return to Giant Country with it intact. But I think there is enough in my own collective memory of what it was like to be a kid, and what it was like to dream big, and what it was like to really hope that those dreams someday will come true. And a lot of BFG is about dream catching. BFG and Sophie go off to an actual place where you can actually catch a dream, mix a dream, and then design the dream to then blow through a long trumpet into the windows of young children, so they can so they can be able to adopt those dreams themselves. So that all goes back to my childhood, I think.
And BFG and obviously Sophie have this amazing relationship. There's an incredible sequence in the beginning where he pulls her out of the bed, and you have this amazing POV shot that's actually shaking around as he's carrying her. It's an amazing shot that Kaminsky did with the cinematography. It's phenomenal. But one thing I want to ask you is, and one thing I love about your movies is I've always found a way to watch your movies, be fully immersed in the storyline, but also I wonder how you pull off some of the shots. So if you don't mind, to ask you one nerdy question. The sequences when Sophie is walking onto the hand of the BFG, I know the hand is not really there. How are you keeping a live action human moving in midair like that? How are you doing that?
Well, Sophie actually is walking onto a large blue, soft, kind of like mattressy shaped hand, but it's all blue. So when she steps on it, her feet will sink a little bit into what will become the fleshiness of BFG's open palm.
What?
And then that device is lifted into the air to make her kind of grab hold of the big blue thumb. Later, we take out that gimbal, that device, and Weta replaced it with BFG's digital animated hand.
John Williams' score is amazing. Kaminsky's cinematography is phenomenal. You've done it again, and I cannot wait for Ready Player One. I am so excited. Congratulations on all your success, and thank you. And I can't wait to see everything else you do, sir. Thank you so much.
Coming your way. I'll be with you again next year.
Ready Player One. I cannot wait. I can't wait to see how you do it. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
Kevin.
Spielberg.